because they wrote them in as an Indian or whatever they call them, black. That is a deceased. That means what deceased mean? You no longer exist with the consciousness of your blood relatives. You don't have no rights to the land anymore because someone called you something that your mother, father didn't consider themselves to be. And they renamed the land through a survey map, and you allow it to be done. Now, what is your proof to this? I'm going to prove it. When the Moors signed treaties, the Moors wrote the treaties themselves. The Esquire negotiated with the Moors, juris consultants, but the juris consultants of the Moor knew that was critical that you identify the native in the treaty, the instrument, to preserve that right to inherit. Now, the moment you don't put that there, there's no one that can inherit anything. That's it. That's a political death. And it's a strip away from cultural identity. Now you're dead to the law of the land that protect your people. You're not protected anymore. You want to add to that?
Oh, no. Good job, Shem. Good job. All right. Explain. We have here to explain the difference between the colonies and the states. All right. Explain the difference between the colonies and states. I'll start with that. All right. We want to look at the contract. So let's look at the royal land grants, the royal charters, the royal letter patents. Let's start with what people talk about colonies because of they're not looking at following the contract. They're looking at a tract of land. It doesn't start with a tract of land. Like say, well, the tract of land doesn't form the colony. The tract of land doesn't form the colony. You can't point to any tract of land and say, well, that's the colony, as that's the starting point. We gotta let's think like a jurist. Think like a jurist. What creates the colony? The royal charter, not the tract of land. The royal charter creates the colony. The royal charter, so you have companies, you have lord proprietors, William Penn, Duke of York, who are lord proprietors that granted Charles II in 1691, granted on 1664, he granted his brother, Duke of York, a charter to form a colony. And then in the land grant, there is the boundaries. So the crown is doing the survey, commissioned the surveys to do the survey. But it starts with the document. A jurist will look, and when we get into these cases, when we get into cases in the third and March, you will see that they're going back to what the instrument, the Supreme Court, and International Water Courts. They're looking at the charters. They're looking at the instrument. And Martin versus Waddle Lisi, Martin versus Waddle Lisi. And we'll get into details in these cases and March. They're looking at the charter, the land grant. They, and even in Spanish land grant cases, they're looking at the land grants. They're looking at the boundary markers. So when as we look into these cases, you see how jurists think. The tract of land is not the start of the colony. So I said I had to lay this out. I had to be clear on this point. So they say the colonies became the states. There is no instrument that anyone in the world can show me that. They can't. All right, so you have these royal land grants. these royal charters, that's the contract. So the charters were not amended. The colonies became the states. There's no amending. There's no like they have to be amended. That charter has to be amended and has to be agreed. The crown has to agree to that.
That's right.
The crown has to agree to amend an existing charter, all right, in order for the statement to exist, to be true. The colonies became the state. The only way that can be true is you present to me the pre-existing charter that was amended under the authority of the crown, that the crown sat down with representatives of the United States. In 1783, we got the treaty, but I'm not talking about the treaty now, where each charter, each royal charter, each royal letter patent, each royal land grant, where under King George III, who was king at the time, King George III, in the Privy Council, because it can't just be King George III, King George III in the Privy Council sat down with representatives of the United States, and they are amending the existing charters. And you got to show me the existing charter with an attached amendment. Think like a jurist.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
All right.
That's
You want to
right.
add to that, Shem?
Yes. Yes. It's clear and established that.
Keep going with the other one.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
Crown.
You broke that down. The crown and privy in that
All right.
council, the Lord
Proprietors.
proprietors,
Yes.
are the ones that have the colony charter. They are considered the lords.
William Penn.
That's right.
William Penn is a Lord Proprietor.
Yes,
Lord
yes,
Proprietor.
William Penn, yes.
Duke of York.
Duke of York, yes.
Lord Baltimore.
Oh boy, that's right.
All right. Lord
right.
Proprietor.
Yes,
All right. Lord Calvet.
that's right.
Lord Proprietor.
That's right.
All right. They Lord Proprietors were granted charters, royal charters, to set up proprietary colonies.
Right. And majority of them was the children or either a duke, a baron, or earl, a count, a marquis, one of them. They will receive
Some were barons,
the lords. Yes, they will receive that. The esquires are the officers that drafted, that work for them, the drafting documents and litigation for the Lord Proprietors, the Crown and the Privy Council. The royal private charter was issued by the Crown at the permission of the Privy Council royal family. The royal land grant was given by the charter holders. Sometimes the royal land grant was given by the crown. The letter of patents came from the lords. I mean, they authorized someone to use the land for industry. The freeholders are the children of the letters of patent. They are the freeholders, meaning they hold the letter of grant, or that they hold the patent. I mean that for their mother, father, whoever it may be of that royal family. Yes. They're the freeholders. That means they still hold a stake, an interest in that the industry and the tract of land that's considered a colony.
Yeah, they would be under the trust board.
That's right.
You know, when we get into the Dungan pattern.
Yes.
And in March, the Dungan pattern, you have the Board of Trustees, all right, and this is in New York. The Board of Trustees was under the Legislation Act of the franchise New York State.
Right.
Then you have the board, the council, the board, the charter, the Board of Trustees that was actually under the charter, that exists under the charter. So there's two boards now. One existing under the charter and one existing under New York State Legislative Act.
That's right. Absolutely. That's right.
So you're going to learn a lot
through
these cases.
That's right.
Think like a jurist.
Yes. As a matter of fact, even in the political status as a British subject, national, Indian, which is it's a political status as a British national, but absolutely have no cultural identities attached to more. It's just a political status, Indian. But even in the status of an Indian, you have to realize that even the United States applied positive law, jurisprudence. They look back even in that status as a British national. They still had the possession right and the inherent right to determine among themselves who they are. See, we have to take upon ourselves and rise to the conscious state of maturity and know that we have the inherent right to tell everybody, every nation in the world who we are, and not for them to make up a conclusion and draw a conclusion who we are, who our father and mothers are. When that happens, you stripped of everything in this world that protects you. In nature, you stripped. As a matter of fact, you don't even have control of your body. So you're not a Lord for the man. The divinity is the Lord. The Bella is your body. So if we don't even have the Bella, the Lord don't have control of the Bella. I mean, you don't have control of your body because someone is explaining to you who you are, your existence. So we have to get back to this, look back and get back to the cultural structure, the foundation line, the property line. We can't let nobody move that. We have to invoke and say our ancestors, even the seers say don't remove a line. That's a foundation line. Nationality is a foundation line. We can't move it.
All right.
Ready?
Yes. We have here, how are European newly created states, towns, boroughs formed on Moorish land in the U.S. jurisdiction? All right. Now let's go back to Happy Ratification Day. Let's go back to the Treaty of Paris, the ruling instrument for the United States. And the Treaty of Paris, Great Britain relinquished, allowing the United States the Northwest Territory. That Northwest Territory was under occupational control by France from 1656 to 1763. So from 1763 to 1783, when you under the Treaty of Paris in 1783, Great Britain allowed the United States to operate within that which was once, of course, it's a Moorish territory, then became under the British and French control, and then under, British control. For that, and then as a result, the United States Congress was able to enact the Northwest Territory and Northwest Ordinance in 1785. What allowed them to do that? Even today, that's Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, Wisconsin, Idaho, and Indiana. To this very day, it's not the United States Constitution. It is the Treaty of Paris. If there is a boundary dispute, which it was in 1790s, which led to the, as I said, to the J Treaty, which is the Treaty of Amity, Commerce, and Navigation between Great Britain and the United States. It's called the J Treaty because John, named after John Jay, who was Minister of Foreign Affairs during the 1780s, 1770s, and 1780s. That he became the Chief Justice. He was the first Chief Justice, John Jay. All right, so that's why it's so called the J Treaty. All right, because John Jay was instrumental in negotiating that. John Jay had to quell the people, they was all rowdy up. And so this is that treaty today allows the United States to operate, not the United States Constitution. The United States Constitution does not give them any authority to operate. If there is a, as I said, there was a boundary dispute in 1794 between Great Britain and the United States, they did not go to the United States Constitution.
Yes, right.
They didn't go to the United States Constitution to settle the boundary dispute.
That's right.
They went to the Treaty of Paris.
That's right.
I am demonstrating, we're not just saying the Treaty of Paris is the ruling instrument. So Supreme Court cases will support us.
Yes, it will.
Supreme Court's not saying the United States is the ruling instrument. Article 6 of the United States Constitution is not saying that. That treaties are the supreme law of the land. Why? We're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. All right? So we have here, so now we have the Northwest Ordinance of 1795. And it was decided in July 1787 during the, not at the Constitutional Convention, but during the time period of the Constitutional Convention, which was from March 1787 to September 1787. In July of 1787, representatives of the United States decided to take the Northwest Territory, which was relinquished to them by Great Britain, and divide them into states. That was decided in July 1787. So this is key. So now, one, so you have these. So what governs the Northwest Territory is the Northwest Ordinance that was enacted by the United States Congress in 1785. And those, that the Northwest Ordinance is the Constitution. It wasn't, that was the initial Constitution, no structure for Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Wisconsin, all right? That was the initial Constitution because they were governed under the Northwest Ordinance.
That's right.
But once again, keep in mind, the boundaries of the Northwest Territory is in the Treaty of Paris.
Yes.
So, like I said, once again, if there's any disputes of boundaries,
That's right.
they're not going to the United States Constitution.
That's right. Yes. Oh, this is wonderful.
All right. So we have number one, population. Note, Article 6 of the Montevideo Convention. All right. So these, so when a new state wanted to enter the Union, they had to have a population.
Yes.
So we refer to Article 6 of the Montevideo Convention of the Rights and Duties of States of 1933. 2, Constitution and Charters of the newly created states, counties, cities, towns, townships, boroughs. When a town, municipality, township, boroughs, they had to comply with they need a population, a prescribed territory.
Yep.
All right. To even bring in a petition for a state. Survey.
That's right.
3, architectural drawing and engineering development plan. 4. All right. So, all right. Government trust. Government trust is the Constitution. 1, settlers, drafters, consultants, Jewish consultants created the boundaries and delegation of authority for each branch of government. You want to go and explain that, Shem?
When the Constitution of the United States was being drafted, it was drafted by the Esquires. The Esquires is the drafters of the instruments. We the people, the settlers, are the lords and the freeholders. They are the lords and freeholders. They are the ones that have to be protected. What you got to go back and look at the old colony charters. When the old colony charters was made, the lords act as the governors. Sometimes the lords act as the parliament branch, and they handed down commissions to people they ordained. They are appointed. They also decided over the pellet matter, the pellet matters dealing with pilling, small matters, disputes. So the Lords had all that. They carried on all them capacities, occupations.